welcome back to The Unleashing. I'm your host, Jared Beeler. All week I've been wanting to make a video. I didn't really even have anything to talk about. It's so nice getting to talk to all you that are all over the world and stuff, and I've gotten used to it, and now it feels like you're my family. I think of the verse when Jesus is being talked to, about his mother, and she's there with his family, and he tells him, all you who believe, you're my brothers and my sisters and stuff, and that's kind of like the thing that's going on. I mean, we're all like a family, and we can all see this stuff all approaching. Every day gets closer, it's getting faster and faster, and it's just great to be able to talk to one another even though we're separated, because we don't really get that in a lot of places. I mean, so many of you are the same as me. You've gotten out of the church community, the building, and it's rare. You might be able to talk to Christians about things, stuff like that, but when you want to start getting into the meat or any of the good stuff, that's like the blessed hope, anything like that for encouragement, they don't want anything to do with it. So it can be kind of tough, especially if you are the only one in your family and stuff that believes. But thankfully in my family, my brothers and sisters, they all do, and it's nice. And we're all separated, but it's going to be real great when we all get to be able to come together. And the way that's looking, it's looking like it could happen real soon. I don't really have anything I am talk about, so I'm just going to talk about a little bit of everything, just a little update, because it's nice getting to comment with you guys and everything like that. But I got a message this morning, first thing in the morning, from one of the followers, and I'm talking about that peace deal that is going to go down next month in Israel. How it looks like it's going to be around the 23rd, around Yom Kippur, or something like that. And I've heard this before from news sources and things like that. This has been one of the most secret deals of all time, which doesn't surprise me because it looks like it's the Daniel 927 peace deal. And that's exciting because all of those that are looking to go home believe that in a pre-tribulation rapture scenario, we're going to get out of here right before, right on, and right around that time. Jesus is going to call us up in the sky, and we're going to get out before this whole show goes up and smoke, and 7 years of worst time in history ever happens on the planet, And there's people that think, more stuff's got to happen, but I really don't. The stuff could happen so quick, and the temple can be built within the 3.5 years. It's just got to be up and waiting for and ready to go by 3.5 years into it, and I'm guessing that it will be. And I'm guessing this is just a personal idea. I think it's going to probably be an opening ceremony. I've always felt it's going to be around Passover. Satan's a big time copycat, so the Antichrist is going to be working with them. They're going to try and declare themselves to be God, and they are when they go in the temple. And I'm guessing they're going to try and copy and go in on Passover and declare themselves to be basically like the Messiah, which doesn't work for Israel, and they have to flee and everything like that. But it's a copycat deal. So the only way to make that happen is the start of the peace deal happens 3.5 years before that, which would push it into a fall time event, because we know that Passover is in the spring, so around the time of the feast days. I mean, that lines up so perfectly, and we know that the feast days being fulfilled in the order that they have been so far. The next ones in line are trumpets, atonement, and tabernacles. We believe trumpets, is a real high representation of the possible rapture, but around that time or the start of the peace treaty, it looks like it, whereas Feast of Atonement is also a line up for what looks like the return of the Messiah when we come back with him. But they could also start the peace deal on that day and line it up for 7 years to the day exactly again that happens again, And we could see it happening. Look what's going on in California, and how you can get jailed now for if you read out of the Bible to try and convince, or let's say somebody who's in a gay lifestyle or something like that comes up to you, and you are quoting the Bible or using that to try and help them out and get them out of that lifestyle, using the Bible and showing them it's a sin and things like that. You can now be jailed for that, and it's just like, it's unbelievable. We got the earthquakes that are just so lined up there. The Ring of Fire out in the Pacific, I mean, it's just on fire right now, and everybody America just keeps getting hit. And when I see that, it makes me think of the bad guy in the movie. All the bad guys are, and then there's the main bad guy, and the cronies get taken out first, but the movie wouldn't be action-packed as if at the very end you weren't saving the worst guy for last. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening. And, and I think in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of good people there that are Christians still, and they're stuck in in their areas and things like that. You know, I have family in California too, and it lines up with the rapture and stuff, and hopefully that they get taken out of there first. You know, if they haven't moved out already and stuff. But as soon as it's out of the way and the restrainer's gone, it's gonna be coming to life real fast, and I have a feeling California's going to finally get the dump in the ocean, possibly the West Coast, because we know that there's the big fault that's right up above the Cascadia one in Washington and Oregon and stuff like that. I got a family up there in Washington too, so. But yeah, very interesting, you know, and we got that Category 5 that's heading towards Hawaii, and as soon as I see that, and with the fires in California, I just can't help but think of that supposed undercover deal that happened with Obama, where he gave California and Hawaii to the Chinese secretly. So it's like, are they pre-gaming it? Because we know that they can use weather to manipulate things and use weather warfare and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. Oh, you know, somebody wrote into me. They were trying to discredit me or something like that on the last video, and it was about the UN. And I had said that you couldn't join the UN from America, and that was a serious conversation I had with a guy that was in the Air Force and another guy who was in the Army for a long time, and we were discussing and stuff like that. Well, I looked into it a little bit more, and I found out that you can. It's not you can't just do it as a citizen. You have to be in the military, and for a long time, I think maybe upwards of 15 years if you're going to go into the UN military. And the only way that it works is if you are maybe requested or assigned, you request it, and they just happen to be doing something in the same area along the same lines, and you can maybe transfer over to them. But it has to be through permission through the very top. And if you do this, then you would do like a 1-year tour, maybe 2 at the most, with them. And I didn't know that that was possible, so that's kind of interesting. And the other group that can go in is police officers. So if you're a cop for over 5 years and you know the lay of the land, you can speak other languages, or if you're an MP in the military, you can do the same thing and go over, and they'll take you that way. So that's something I didn't know. That's kind of interesting. But from the guys I was talking to in the military and stuff like that, the way that it makes it sound, it is almost impossible, and they don't really want them. And you can see that the guys that they do have in the UN, like the Chinese and stuff like that, it's orientated towards, if there was going to be martial law here in America, the people that they have in there aren't going to be somebody like an American that would turn on them and their agenda. So, and if you know anything about the UN and the rape and pillage, and like literal rape and pillage wherever they go, and the non-jurisdiction, I mean not jurisdiction, but they don't have any they basically don't have any restraints on them. The overhead on them just lets them do whatever they want. They're pretty much the scum of the world, and we know from inside sources that that's also going to be what the UN turns into the New World Order. So they're completely bad news. And of course, we could go into even more stuff. How they have seances in the head of the UN. They have meetings where they talk to spirits on the other side, and the main one they talk to is Thoth. And if you go back to his origins and stuff like that, it's just another nickname that Lucifer's using and trying to see him. So they're literally taking orders from Lucifer on the other side, and this is the UN. So it's not going to be anything that you'd ever want to be a part of, anyways. But just a small correction on that. So that's interesting. It's something I didn't know, and it wasn't. And I looked it up and wanted to know a little bit more because of the comment that somebody left. So straighten that out a little bit. I guess I was a little bit off on that. So you can join if you're from the U.S., but there's a lot of legal work and stuff that you'd have to go through to be a part of it. So, anyways, but. Yeah, you know, this peace deal thing that's going to go down, it looks like it's going to be next month. Look at what's happened with the embassy and stuff like that, and how fast they did that. And here we are, boom, Israel celebrates their 70th year, you know, and in that same year, we're about to get to their new year. And they celebrate, which is Feast of Trumpets. That's their traditional one. It was changed up when they left Egypt, and they have a spiritual one, and that's what they do Passover, but their civil New Year or whatever is Feast of Trumpets, so that would start it. It's really interesting the way things are lined up, you know, and if you guys have looked at any of the Nibiru stuff coming through the solar system, the way it looks, I mean, they're only going to keep that a secret for a while. And what about the UFOs? That's been a big topic too. Look how that's come out, and now Space Force. It's interesting. Now, we already have a secret space program, okay? We have for a long time, and we do stuff up there, and there's a whole front with that, and there's military that works for it that probably doesn't even know that what they're doing out there is a front, because the aliens are just deceptive spirits that are using organic bodies for the Rephaim and the Nephilim to use for the whole alien agenda that happens at the end time. But in that rapture vision I had, that's the first thing I saw was a UFO came down, and if that were to come down, man, that would change things so fast. Not only would it be a worldwide, it would be able to push something for like a peace deal where everybody comes together, but they would use that as an excuse for the people that disappeared, and they're in with them. And of course, the aliens that are actually demonic beings that are playing that front. They want to run that too, because they're trying to deceive as many people as possible. So if they can do that, or if they have a timeline when they think that the rapture is going to happen and they show up and it lines up with it, like I say, I have a feeling that they know a lot more than we do on the thing. When Jesus is talking to the guy in the tombs, and he goes to cast out the demons tell him, what do you have to do with that, Jesus, before our appointed time? They know that there's an appointed time, and it sounds like they know exactly when it is. When I had that interview with Linda Moulton Howe, like I've talked about multiple times, she was talking about a meeting she had in the Pentagon, and she was allowed to flip through the book or whatever they had. She couldn't take it out of there or anything like that, but it was a discussion on the aliens, and the aliens said that they put Jesus and John the Baptist and Osa here for an event that happens 2,000 years in the future. Now we know that they didn't do that, and you can rebuke them in Jesus' name, so they're totally full of crap. But the point is they said something interesting in that phrase, that it's for an event that happened 2,000 years in the future from the time of Jesus. So this timeline fits right into that 6,000 year timeline that happens before before the tribulation starts, and then there's the 1,000 years. So knowing that, and them knowing it's a 2,000 year, they know an estimated time from Jesus is 2,000 years. So they've been around at this time, and they hinted at it also when Jesus in the Bible, when he's throwing them out of the tomb, they go into the pigs. So I think they know perfectly well that it's about to go down. And I think this alien uptick and the whole Space Force thing, and you're gonna watch the technology just come out like that. It'll be like, oh, we really found onto something. No, they've had it the whole time. So now that that's out of the bag, they'll be able to use it and as an excuse to really start putting it out in the public, So it's pretty interesting too, because we know that's one of the things you're going to be using as deception, and it's going to be part of the end time events that happen during the tribulation. And here we go. Look how fast it's taken off. Stuff is just taking off faster every single day. It won't slow down. And before, what would take like years, my gosh, it's happening overnight. Within weeks, you'll see stuff happen. Look at the earthquakes, volcanoes, everything's just on fire. The whole thing's a mess, and a lot of it's man-made stuff, but there's also going to be biblical stuff that happens, and it's lining up perfectly well with the tribulation, Do I think that the whole thing starts next month? I do. We were all so serious about last year when September 23rd came around, because it lines up so good, like nothing I've ever seen before. And then it didn't, And I really feel that, and I'm not the only one, there's multiple people out there that do that, that's a midnight call. And there's a lot of people that turned away after that, like, oh, I'm done. And it reminds me of the 10 virgins, that don't have their oil and their lamp and stuff like that. And us that are still looking, we can still see it coming faster and faster. And my mom's vision of destruction that happens this year, it looks like it really could happen like that. It's lined up so good, and I don't think it's going to be regular destruction. I think it's going to be the start of the tribulation. And last year, right before September 23rd, I was laying there, and God spoke to me, Jesus spoke to me. I was laying in bed, and the room kind of lit up golden, and it was a combination between awake and sleep, and the way the sun was coming in the room, the whole thing just went kind of golden. And Jesus said, soon, and I knew what he meant. He was talking about him coming soon, and that's all I said, and I thanked him, that I got to talk. I always wish, every time you talk to God, you wish that it's longer, and you just want to talk to him about everything. So many answers right there at your fingertips, It's like, I just want to talk longer. And he said soon. When he said it, I thought it was kind of interesting, because it was right before the September 23rd sign. It's like, why are you saying this now? You're not going to say this like 3 days before. You're just going to come. And he didn't, and I feel that he was let it know that it's still going to happen, but it wasn't going to be at that time. And I really feel like this was like a 1 year warning sign. And I really think that was because I think from September 23rd to around the time Yom Kippur is this year, it's going to be around that same time, and that'd be like a year warning. So it's very interesting that we've had like a year since that happened, to wake up, or certain people have fallen back asleep at the same time. But definitely paying attention to all of it for sure. It's very exciting though. We've had even more chances to talk to people. And of course, a lot of us who were really looking for it, really felt like it took the wind out of our sails. It's like, oh man, we were so close. And then it didn't happen, But we've got back up on our feet and we started witnessing again, and we're talking to people. And we keep doing that, and we'll always do that no matter what. But at the same time, we're getting wore out, It makes me think of the verse that the Antichrist would wear out the saints. And, I feel wore out. I'm tired. I've been at this now for a while, and really hard for 4 years, I could say at least really hard. And I'm tired of moving. I'm tired of starting new jobs and having to quit jobs and stuff like that. And I know I have got to talk to so many different people and things like that along the way, I'm tired. I'm ready for this to be done. I'm ready to celebrate with my family and people, in heaven, and see Jesus and everything that's up there, and start our real lives. Because these down here are fake. No career, no nothing that we do down here is our real life. Our real life starts when we're up there, and it's going to have purpose, It's not going to be down here, and that's one of the things that bothers me so much, because I don't like to waste time on something, and the only thing that really matters is talking to people about God and trying to lead them to the Lord, and leaving things behind, science and stuff, making videos and things like that, and I recommend, if you ever see any good videos that's going to help your family, record every single one, because the stuff will be taken off the internet. Look at what's happening with the media and stuff like that. These are important people that have been talking, and they could really front stuff, and if they're about to do something sneaky behind the door, they're not going to want them to talk, and I feel like that's the reason why some of their channels are getting shut down, so you never know when it can happen. I'm grateful that mine's lasted as long as it has and hasn't been taken down, and I try to be careful about some of the stuff I talk about, because I'm like, talk about it or still weighing that I can get to more people this way. So, it's kind of a balance in that. So if you guys ever see any videos, though, I recommend record them and save them for people that might find them if you don't think you can get to them in time and stuff like that. Leaving things behind, like my friend Dustin has Bibles and stuff, and all kinds of other ideas. I mean, there's ideas out there that you could have. I was doing USBs for a while and handing them out with some of my videos and stuff on them, and hopefully it would be to answer questions for people. But I think we're finally at the end of this, and it feels really nice. I don't want to do another year. I really don't. I'm burnt out. I'm really tired. I will if I have to, but I'm ready to go home. And so many of us are. And look what's happened in the past 4 years. I mean, us that are really looking for Him, it's not just me. The Holy Spirit in you and in me, we can feel the hour drawing closer. And in the Bible, it's like, those that aren't watching, it'll be like a thief in the night. They don't even know what's going to happen. But for us that have been looking, look at one sign being shown to us right in front of the world. We get to see it completely open, like, hey, look what Jesus is doing now. Oh, look what He's doing now. Oh, look how this lines up. Oh, wow, we literally could be a couple weeks away. This is great. Totally straightforward for us. And yet, while it's being shown to us, they're completely blind to it, and they're blind by their own decisions and not caring, So interesting, and yet that's exactly what we're seeing. So that blessed hope, it's so exciting. We'll finally get to be with Him, and no more of this nonsense down here. It's not like it was back in the day. It's not simple times. We're in absolutely dark times, and those that love the Lord and see the evil, you can do anything and everything you can to try and get away from the world and the vanity and the filth. So much selfishness and everything that's bad, you just can't get far enough away from it. It's terrible, and yet we have to go into it. I struggle because we have one foot in heaven, we're ready to step on the scale, and the other one's on the earth. We do have to have jobs and stuff like that at the same time and talk to people, but that's not really what we care about. We care about going to be with the Lord, and we want to put all that into it, but then at the same time, if you do, then you're starving, and so is your family. It's like, dang it, you got to come back down to earth, and there's this balance, and all I want to do is step off and never look back, okay? The only time I want to look back is when persona mounting up on a horse with Jesus, and we're riding back to dish out judgment on evil forces that are going to be so past due, undeserving, and it's going to be unbelievable, you know. But that's where our hope is. I mean, it's going to be incredible. Things we're going to see and do for all of eternity. I've heard it before, you know. For a Christian or for us, this is the worst we'll ever have it, because once we're with Jesus, it's just going to be radical forever. It's going to be so good, and I mean, it's beyond our limit. There isn't going to be boredom and things like that. There's not going to be an end to different things He can teach us and show us. It's just so big, we don't even know. But for the world, this is the best they'll ever have, because it's going to get way worse, you know, and that's terrible, but we have that hope. And so when we're going through struggles right now, you know, it's not going to last forever, and that's a real hope, because oh man, it's bad, you know. I don't want to. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of it, you know. I was hoping it was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna happen in 2014, 15, 16, 17, and now I think it's gonna happen now, you know. And of course, I can never give 100% guarantee on anything like that, because I don't know, and no man does. It belongs to God. It always has. It's His, and you know, that's fine. It belongs to Him. He owns everything, you know. But we can also look at the signs and see the things and be like, yeah, you know, it really looks good. And we know certain things, like the peace deal and stuff. And if this is the one, if this is the deal with many that gets confirmed, you know, then this is a sign. This is going to start the tribulation. And that's really exciting, because then we're going to be getting out of here, you know. And it's going to be great, because we've been waiting for a long time, you know, 2,000 years. We've been waiting. And some of us, like me, I've been waiting since I was just a kid. When I first got saved when I was 6, it's been 30 years that I've been looking for this. Every day I have my head in the clouds. I'm looking up, and I'm always looking and imagining His return. I always have been. And it's just the most incredible thing. And closest I've ever been to it is in that rapture vision in 2014. That was just amazing. And I have been up there, and I got a couple things out of Sandpoint, you know, and I got to go back up maybe a couple more times. I'm going to probably do it next month, you know, probably over a Feast of Trumpets. You know, I'm not sure, but anyways, and my stepdad did go up he went to Colorado, and he rented a vehicle, but it was a silver truck. And, you know, I don't know if that's going to play out exactly like my vision. There's nothing that says, but I'm always happy to share everything or any sort of lead that looks like it, because that was the most incredible experience, and every single thing that has happened. And when I had that dream, it's all come real. I had no idea that I was going to live in Idaho or have anything to do with that ever again. I was in Colorado, and the plans were completely out the window, or talk to my stepdad, because we were fighting at the time. I didn't think I was ever going to talk to him again, and that showed so much. I ended up living up there. I have to go up there, you know, and me and him do talk, and even when I figured out what was on his face, that he knew the whole dream, and I'm like, how is that possible? And then in 2017, I told him. So all of it's come true, you know. It's pretty incredible. So will the whole thing play out that way? It could be a possibility. Who knows what could happen? But I'm not sure. But that's beside the point. I might have just got a taste of what it feels like, and that's fine too. It was absolutely incredible, and I've never experienced anything like it in my entire life. It's amazing that the best thing I've ever experienced happened to be when I was asleep. But yeah, pretty wild. But yeah, you know, I could talk about all kinds of things, but really I just wanted to like throw some stuff out there, and you know, say keep looking up, because it's getting close, and we can all feel it, and we see it approaching every single day. And I do think that the way things are looking, and this peace deal and what it is and stuff like that, and I think Trump's going to bring it to the UN Assembly, you know, and maybe the Trump will turn out to be the Antichrist. Maybe he won't be. Maybe he's just a part of the system. It's hard to say, you know, but the whole point is that's why I haven't ever been like, I've never put him in like that sort of status or anything like that, because he absolutely could be. We're only to look to Jesus, and there's going to be some explaining to do from some of the prophet guys that have been saying, you know, he's like Cyrus and everything. He turns out to be the Antichrist. Oh man, they're going to have some explaining to do, because they're only going to be shown for their true colors, you know. It's ridiculous, but anyways, yeah, you know, I wanted to talk about a few things, and definitely about the peace deal, because it does look like it could happen next month, and mostly, you know, I just like talking to you guys and encouraging and stuff like that, because you know, I get down too, and it's nice when we can share different things and stuff we know, and try to lift each other up, even though we're worlds apart, you know. it's a good thing. And yeah, so that's all I got for right now. And I was going to do this a couple days ago, but I was really kind of feeling it today. And so hang in there, everybody. Keep looking up and don't get discouraged, because it looks like it's really close. And keep talking to loved ones. Come up with ideas for people that would be left behind that you don't think you can get through. Save videos, save pamphlets, save things like that. Say, read this. Be sneaky about it the best way that you can, because no matter what you're doing, you're trying to get their soul to heaven and to last forever. In paradise. You want that for them. And so think what you can, because in this situation you have their best interests at heart. So come with ideas and always be thinking about that kind of stuff. And time is drawing very short. We don't know how much time we have left, but it really does look close. So hang in there, and I'll talk to you guys again. God bless. I'll catch you next time on Unleashing. Bye.